I won the lottery. 18 million. I ran all the way home excitedly, wanting to tell my mom the good news. But just as I sat down, my mom spoke up. Xiuhua, come with me to the notary office tomorrow. We need to sign something for the property transfer. I was puzzled. Property transfer. What property? Transfer it to who? My mom shot me a glare. The 2 houses in our family are to be transferred to your brother. Who else would they go to? I froze. Mom, 2 houses. Why are both being transferred to my brother? By rights. I should have a share. 2. Before I could finish, my mom slammed down her chopsticks. Zhang Xiuhua, remember this. Everything in our Zhang family belongs to your brother, and it has nothing to do with you at all. I tightened my grip on the lottery ticket in my pocket. Then, let's make it official. 2. My brother will be solely responsible for taking care of you in your old age. 1. My mom stood up straight away and pointed at my head, cursing me. Zhang Xiuhua, did you study all that stuff into a dog's belly just for 2 apartments? You're even willing to ditch your own mother. I stayed seated, and I didn't hold back, either. You were the one who abandoned me first. How did I ever abandon you? I fed you and took care of you, raised you to this age, and sent you to college. My mom said, hands on her hips, raise money for me to go to college. Mom, my college tuition was all covered by student loans, and I only paid them off after I started working. The day my college acceptance letter arrived, my mom told me that I was already grown up. If I wanted to go to school, I'd have to figure it out myself. I worked all summer to save up enough tuition, but before I could even warm my hands on it, my brother stole it to gamble away and lost every last cent. My mom said that what my brother was doing was called investing. If it succeeded, our family would be made. It was just bad luck. I lost everything. My mom still looked at me haughtily. Then did you? Live on due for the first 18 years. Didn't I raise you for a house? You won't even care about family ties. People like you are selfish and only care about themselves. I might as well have given birth to a piece of roast pork than to you. My nose tingled, and all the grievances surged up in an instant from childhood to adulthood. I've done all the housework at home. My brother never takes care of anything. My mom rolled her eyes. What girl in a family doesn't do chores? Asking the men to do housework. Aren't you afraid people will laugh if they hear that? When I wanted money to buy a study guide, you wouldn't give it to me, but then you turned around and gave my brother money to go to an internet cafe. My mom rolled her eyes again. Your brother went to the internet cafe to look up information. What information can't you find online? Why do you have to buy such an expensive study guide? After Dad passed away, you even stopped my dance classes. My mom cut me off. I'm saying, Zhang Sihui, are you blind? Your dad's dead. Where would our family get the money to pay for your dance classes? I broke down crying, but then you turned around and signed me up for a foreign summer camp that cost 50,000. My mom dismissed it. How could that be the same? Your brother is a man, and men have to go out and see the world. What use is learning that dance? To seduce men? Mom, enough. The defenses in my heart are completely shattered. My mom also waved her hand impatiently. Fine. I won't waste any more words on you. Go sign the papers tomorrow. How many trips have I made for this procedure? If your dad was still alive, we wouldn't need a heartless ingrate like you to sign. He'd just transfer it directly to your brother. I let out a cold laugh. If Dad was still alive, he would never be as biased toward sons and against daughters as you are. My mom was so angry she wanted to hit me. Her hand stopped in midair, and after thinking about it, she let it fall. Anyway, tomorrow you're coming with me to sign the papers. Then I'll still be your mother, and this will still be your home. You can keep living here until your brother gets married. I felt even more chilled to the bone. Mom, what do you mean? You're giving the house to my brother, and after he gets married, I still can't live here. My mother looked perfectly matter-of-fact. You're a girl. Just hurry up and find someone to marry. If you want a house, have your man buy one for you. Once your brother has a wife. If you The little sister. Keep living in your parents' home every day. Do you think your future sister-in-law will be happy? If she's unhappy and starts picking a fight with your brother, then what? Zhang Xiuhua, you're not a child anymore. You should know better. I sighed and glanced at the home I'd lived in for more than 20 years. The chill in my heart reached its peak. I clenched the jackpot lottery ticket in my pocket and took a deep breath. You can have me sign it, but it has to be notarized again. My brother will be fully responsible for your retirement. My mother was about to say something, but I cut in first. I don't want any of the things in the house. My only request is that from now on, we stay out of each other's way. My mother slapped her thigh. So, you've made up your mind to cut ties with the family. I raised you all these years, and you don't want to support me in my old age. You ungrateful brat. As I guessed, my mom was planning to give all the property to my brother and then dump the issue of taking care of her in her old age on me. Get out. Get out right now. My mom, furious and exasperated, shoved me out the door. A gossip-hungry neighbor had already been peeking at the doorway, trying to hear what had happened. When they saw me come out, they gave an awkward smile, walked past me to my mom's side, and listened as she cried about my unfilial behavior. 2. I went out and checked into a hotel. I should have been feeling really sad, but when I saw the lottery ticket in my bag, I suddenly didn't feel sad anymore. At first, I thought that with so much money, I could buy a villa, buy a car, and take my mom to live a good life. Then I'd give my brother several million, let him start a small business, get married, and the whole family would live happily and comfortably. Maybe heaven took pity on me and deliberately chose this moment tonight to let me see my mom's true thoughts. In her eyes, I'm a daughter, a money-losing burden, and once I get married, I'll be even more of an outsider. Now that with Dad gone, life at home isn't as good as other families, and it'll be a little harder for my brother to find a wife. If the family only had one house, I definitely wouldn't fight him for it, but there are clearly two, and my mom's support in old age is something we should be responsible for together. I don't understand. Why should both houses be given to him just because he's a son? I sent my boss a message asking for leave tomorrow, so I can go cash in the lottery ticket. If I can't figure something out, I won't think about it anymore. Anyway, I've got plenty of money now, just getting ready to sleep well and recharge, so I can set off early tomorrow morning. The phone rang. It was a call from my aunt. Hello, Sihua. I'm not trying to criticize you, but how could you make your mom so angry? Your mom has been widowed for all these years, raising you and your brother on her own, working so hard to bring you both up. How can you not understand her? Thinking that I usually got along fairly well with my aunt, I held back my temper. Aunt, it's my mom who insisted on giving both apartments to my brother, so that's why before I could finish, my aunt grew anxious. Oh dear, if not to your brother, then to whom should your father's house go? You're just a girl. What are you fighting for the house for? I was instantly stunned. Aunt, I may be a girl, but I'm also a child of the Jiang family. My brother and I are the same. We'll both take care of our mother. In her old age, my aunt began to persuade me. It's only right that you take care of your mother, but asking for the house is just too ungrateful. Your brother is a man, and he'll need to marry a wife someday. Without a house, who would marry him? You'll be the same when you look for a partner. You'll surely find a man who has a house. So, why fight with your own brother over it? If this gets taken to court, the judge still won't side with you. I laughed. Auntie, guess why the property transfer needs my signature? Because by law, I already have a share in it. Annie laughed. Hey, look at this girl, talking law with her own family now. Your mom was right. You really are selfish and self-centered, willing to throw away family for a house. I was completely furious. Auntie, they're the ones trying to scheme against me. When they couldn't, they turned around and said I'm selfish and self-centered. They're clearly the ones who want me to give up what I'm entitled to. Why should I? Because your mom gave birth to you. Because she raised you. My aunt couldn't argue with me, so she started guilt-tripping me again. I've heard these words far too many times since I was little. At every family gathering, every relative would keep nagging in my ear. Your mom has had a hard time, so you should be a good, dutiful child and take good care of your mom. If it weren't for you and your brother, after your dad died, your mom would have left long ago. She stayed in this family for your sake. When you grow up and look for a partner, you have to keep your eyes open and find someone rich, so they can help support your mom and your brother in the future. I grew up hearing these things, and long ago, I made pleasing my mom part of my daily routine. No matter what good things I had, I would give them to my mom first, and then my mom would turn around and give them to my brother. She said my brother would be the pillar of this family in the future, that the whole family would depend on him, that my status in my husband's family would depend on him, and that her life when she got old would also depend on him. So, I not only had to please my mom, but also my brother, after years of being morally blackmailed and PUA'd by them. Thinking of this, I just hung up the phone. 3. I put down my phone and finally got a good night's sleep as a result. WeChat notification sounds kept coming one after another. My mom's maternal family chat group was in an uproar, and they were all at ING. Me. Sihui, how did you end up like this? You were pretty obedient when you were little. You're just going to sign your name and transfer the house to your brother. How hard can that be? Look at us ants here. Has any one of us ever fought with your uncle over property? Exactly. Your mother raised you all these years, and you're arguing with her like this over a house, breaking her heart. My mother played the good person in the group chat. Forget it, everyone. Let's not blame Sihui anymore. It's my fault for not raising her properly. I just have bad luck. Ending up with a child like this is my fate. It's all because my old Zhang died too early. I might as well have gone with him. The aunts in the group kept urging my mother to look on the bright side, and my uncle even sent several 60-second voice messages directly. I know 60 seconds is WeChat's limit, not his. I don't want to click on it either. It's just the same few sentences over and over again. I'm tired of hearing them. The rest of the younger generation didn't say anything. They were probably just lurking and watching the drama. My brother, Zhang Xiqing, woke up from somewhere and popped up. Chao Nima, Zhang Sihui, you've got some nerve daring to compete with your own brother for the house. Do you even deserve it? You little girl, a worthless burden. How could anything from the Zhang family ever be yours? Take a good look at yourself in the mirror. You greedy women who coveted your family's property are just asking for trouble. Come back tomorrow and sign the papers, or I'll make a scene at your workplace. I blurted out in the group chat, Aunties, since you gave up your natal family's property, are you and Uncle also jointly responsible for supporting Grandpa and Grandma in their old age? Before the aunties could reply, a few uncles spoke up. Of course, it's whoever takes the property who takes care of the parents in old age. We didn't even see a single piece of dowry, and the betrothal gifts were all taken by your uncle to marry his wife. So, this old age care business should definitely be your uncle's responsibility. Seeing the fire about to spread to him, my uncle said, "That's not quite how it should be said. Our parents are everyone's parents. Why should their care in old age depend on me alone?" Both uncles were unhappy. Then, take out those several properties and redistribute them. And let's discuss the issue of elder care. Amid the chaos, I chimed in, "Uncles, take a look at the savings at home." I heard from Mom that the aunts each subsidized Uncle with 2,000 yuan every month. The group chat descended into chaos, everyone talking over one another. Sure enough, when the fire hadn't reached their own doorstep, nobody felt the heat. That was when my mom sent me a private message. "You little wretch, I truly regret not drowning you in the chamber pot back then. Ungrateful wretch. Unfilial daughter. Sooner or later, heaven will strike you down with thunder and let the heavens deal with you." The things you said in the group chat have now caused a huge fight between your eldest aunt and second aunt's families. I immediately blocked and deleted my mom, and also left the group chat. For my fourth, aunt privately messaged me. She hadn't said a word in the group chat earlier. I remember she rarely spoke in the group chat. My mom and my aunts, big aunt and second aunt, didn't like her, and often complained to me about how disrespectful Aunt Four was. Uncle, when mentioning Aunt Four, would spit in disgust. That ungrateful creature. Better not even mention her. Si hui, Aunt Four understands you. 10 years ago, I already made a fuss about it, but it didn't help. Everything your grandparents had was given to your uncle, and the issue of their care was left to their daughters. Your eldest aunt organized for your grandparents to live with each daughter for half a year. Your mother and second aunt agreed, but I refused later because your aunt's husbands were unhappy. The plan was abandoned and replaced with a monthly payment of 2,000 yuan. Since then, I became the unfilial daughter in their mouths. The 100,000 yuan dowry from your fourth aunt's husband was given by your grandfather to your uncle, while my wedding gifts were just 2 cotton quilts. From then on, I never went back to my mother's family home. Hearing Aunt Four say all this, and recalling the things my mother usually complained about her, I felt a surge of complex emotions. Aunt Four, a maternal home built on money. There's no point in returning. I finally realized it. In my mother's eyes, there's only my brother. She gave birth to me just to pave another path for him. Aunt Four spoke earnestly. Si hui, from now on, don't care about what others think or what they say about you. If they can't gain any advantage from you, they'll try to slander you. I thought about it, and indeed, whether they were morally manipulating me or using PUA tactics, their goal was always to make me give up what I rightfully deserved. Aunt Four continued, Are you living alone outside now? Do you have money? Aunt Four will give you some. Find a good hotel to rest for the night, and come stay at Aunt Four's house tomorrow morning. As she said this, she transferred 1,000 yuan to me. Looking at the red envelope on my screen, tears instantly welled up in my eyes. The group was arguing so fiercely just now. Not a single person cared whether I, a girl, was safe being out so late at night. It was my fourth aunt, the one they've always disliked, who worried I might run out of money, feared I'd have nowhere to stay, and was afraid I'd be in danger. Tears dropped steadily onto my phone, blurring my vision. Thank you, Aunt. I've got money. I'll come over to your place in a couple of days. I wiped away my tears. All right. Auntie C's home is always welcoming you. 5. The next day, I got up early and took the first high-speed train, heading straight for the provincial capital. By the time I arrived in the provincial capital, it was nearly noon. I wrapped myself up tightly and trembled as I walked into the lottery center. After taxes, I'd be getting 14 per million. The moment I received the bonus check, my hands were shaking with excitement. This money would be enough for me to live a very good life for the rest of my days. I declined the reporters' interviews and refused to take photos, then tucked the check under my arm and slipped out of the lottery center, rushed to the nearby bank, and with my appearance, the lobby manager, being very experienced, immediately invited me into the VIP lounge. In addition to the high interest rates, they also gave me many large supermarket cards, shopping vouchers, and VIP memberships for various high-end stores. Only after all the money was deposited into my bank account did I finally breathe a sigh of relief. I kept 2 per million for buying a house and put the rest into fixed-term deposits. With all these supermarket cards and shopping vouchers from the supermarket, I found that I hardly need to pay out of my own pocket when going shopping anymore. When someone who's been poor suddenly gets rich, they don't know how to live all at once. While I was happily eating at a buffet restaurant that costs over 2,000 per person, my brother called me. I out a quiet sigh to myself. How could I have forgotten to block him? 2. Thinking about my mom's retirement issues, I still answered the phone. As soon as it connected, my brother cursed at me like a madman. Zhang Shihui, you said you'd come sign the papers, and we waited for you all morning. Where the hell are you? Get your ass over here this afternoon, or I'll make a scene at your company and make sure you can't keep working. I stuffed a piece of foie gras into my mouth and chewed on it. Then, what about Mom's retirement? My brother had completely gone crazy. Zhang Shihui, that's your mother. You have to support her. I shot back angrily. Too. So, you know, she's my mother. Then why do both of the houses in this family go to you? Because I'm the only male heir in the family. I'm the hope of this family. I'm the root of this family. My brother said those words with righteous indignation. I couldn't help laughing at him. Haha, male heir. Hope, root. Who are you trying to crack up? Zhang Sikhang, look at yourself. When you say that, don't you at least feel embarrassed? My brother held back the urge to slam the phone down. I'm just asking you, are you coming back this afternoon to sign it or not? I played along with him. 2. I'm just asking you. Damn it. Are you going to take responsibility for Mom's care in her old age or not? My brother hung up the phone right away, and I knew he wasn't going to agree so easily. 6. After eating and drinking my fill, I strolled around the mall. Big cities really are different. All kinds of big brand skincare products had their own counters. Used the vouchers the bank gave me to buy all sorts of things. And in the end, I barely spent any of my own money. The sales associate's enthusiastic service made me feel that being rich is really great. In the past, with my salary, I still had to give my mom half of it every month for household expenses. I didn't even dare look at stores like this, let alone think about them. I stared in deep thought at the shop across from me, where all kinds of beautiful middle-aged mom outfits were hanging on display. If it hadn't been for that night, when my mom suddenly said she wanted to transfer all the houses to my brother, the person shopping with me by my side right now would definitely be my mom. Thinking of how much my mom loved gold. After my dad died in a car accident and we received over 800,000 yuan in compensation, she spent more than 100,000 yuan buying gold. But not a single piece was for me. It's funny to say, but my mom has a lot of gold bangles, and I used to want to ask her for one to wear, but she said those were all to be kept for her future daughter-in-law. The big gold chain with a Pichio pendant hanging around my brother's neck always sparkled, so brightly that it stung my eyes. I wandered around the gold shop, picking out a few styles I liked. From now on, I'm also someone who has a gold bangle. I will also have my own house, my own car, and my own home. Thinking of this, my nose stung, and I thought that it must be my dad knowing from beyond the grave, blessing me to win this lottery ticket. Just after paying, I saw supervisor's sister, Chin, tagged me in the work group chat. Sihui, your brother came to the company. He's making a fuss and insisting on seeing you. I told him you're on leave, but he won't believe it. The whole company is looking for you. They even searched the women's restroom. You scared several female co-workers half to death. I figured it was your brother, so I didn't feel comfortable calling the police. Look, why don't you give him a call? The supervisor sent another video. Zhang Siqing had probably had a bit too much to drink. His face was flushed red, and he was spewing vulgarities. He shouted my name in the company, told me to get the hell out, and when he was furious, even casually slammed a few files onto the floor. Call the police right away. Hurry, don't let him get away with it. Sister Chin, I may have to resign when I go back. Please don't do this for my sake. Bad people must be punished. After hearing what I said, Sister Chen was still uneasy and called again to confirm. In the end, I gave my tacit approval and she called 110. The police arrived quickly and Zhang Shiqing was taken away, facing a half-month detention on charges of provoking trouble and intentionally damaging other people's property. I watched the video Sister Chen sent me. The moment Zhang Shiqing saw the police, he sobered up and kept saying it was all a misunderstanding. You see, this kind of person, running wild while drunk, is just making excuses. So refreshing, yet so agonizing. 7. I had originally wanted to buy a car and drive it back directly, but then I thought it would be better to keep a low profile. As before, I took the high-speed rail back to my hometown, carrying gifts, and went straight to Fourth Aunt's house. Fourth Aunt warmly welcomed me in. When she saw the skincare products I had given her, she absolutely refused to take them, saying they were too expensive and telling me to keep them for myself. I told her that I had money and not to worry about me. It was only when we were eating that I learned Fourth Aunt and Fourth Uncle had already bought a house for my cousin. Your fourth uncle said that it's very important for a girl to have her own house before marriage. That's the confidence a marriage rests on. If her in-laws ever treat her badly in the future, she'll also have the courage to leave. At the very least, she'll always have somewhere to go. We'll slowly prepare a house for your cousin. 2. Men and women are equal, and we won't shortchange our future daughter-in-law either. Aunt Four's words made me think of my mom again. For my older brother, she practically wanted to skin me alive and strip me to the bone, pinning any and all benefits onto my brother. While I was eating, my mom called. You little brat, did you block me on WeChat? I'll settle accounts with you later. For now, come with me to the police station and get your brother out. My phone speaker was loud, and Fourth Aunt and Fourth Uncle both heard it. They both put down their chopsticks. I'm not going. My brother brought this on himself. If he has the guts to make a scene at my company, then he should have the courage to face the consequences. Besides, it won't help even if I go. The company called the police to arrest him, so it has nothing to do with me. My mom shouted in anger, her voice already hoarse. Go find your boss at your company. Have them agree to the settlement and get your brother released. Your poor brother spent last night in the detention center. My poor son. I laughed. Anyway, I'm not going. Instead of wasting time calling me, why don't you pack a few changes of clothes for your son and send them over? My mom gritted her teeth in rage. Zhang Sihui, don't push people too far. If you push me too far, I'll go to your company and find your boss. 2. I laughed even louder. Fine, go ahead. You can go keep your son company in detention. My mom cursed me out angrily for a few words, saying some very ugly things, then hung up the phone. Aunt Four also looked at me worriedly. You said that after your brother gets out, he won't come looking for trouble with you, right? I gave her a reassuring look. It's fine, Aunt Four. If he comes looking for trouble, even better, I'll send him to prison. After dinner, I went to the company and submitted my resignation. I repeatedly told Sister Chin, you absolutely cannot do this for my sake. You must not settle. My brother always loves stirring up trouble, so he needs to be taught a lesson in order to learn his. Sister Chin nodded. Sihui, a girl like you who puts righteousness above family is really rare. I smiled. I'm doing this with the best of intentions, all for the sake of this family. Also, Sister Chin, after I resign, if my brother comes looking for me again, call the police right away. Don't hesitate. Chin looked completely puzzled. What does your brother want with you anyway? The way he looked that day was so aggressive. It was really scary. I looked embarrassed, just so they could get both of the houses at home. They even kicked me out. Also, I'd sign away my right to inherit the property. Chen's face was full of sympathy. I smiled, said goodbye to her, and left the company 8. After leaving the company, I turned around and went to look at several apartment developments with all the different environments and layouts. I was spoiled for choice. In the end, I settled on a river view apartment. The surroundings were beautiful, and you could see the river view right from the balcony. The surrounding facilities are also very good. Shopping malls, hospitals, and subway stations are all very close. Most importantly, it's quite far from my mom's place, so they'd have a hard time running into me. Housing prices in a small county town are very affordable. After buying the house, I can still save over $1 million for decoration and living expenses, combined with the bank's annual interest. Even if I don't work, I can still live quite comfortably. I stood on the balcony of the unfinished apartment, looking out at the vast river view beyond. Without giving it much thought, I decisively paid the full amount up front and bought the apartment. Jiangxi Hui, you'll soon have a home of your own. I found a very reliable home furnishing and had them create several design renderings based on my ideas. On the day renovation started on my house, Zhang Xiqing was released. Aunt Four showed me a post on moments that my mom had shared. My son has suffered with an unfilial daughter, and plus pound son would lose weight in the detention center from not getting enough to eat. Everyone in my family knows what my older brother is like. He's into drinking, whoring, and gambling. He knows it all. My dad's compensation money was almost all spent on my brother. There were also matchmakers who introduced a few girls to him. But as soon as they saw his face and heard that he was a gambler, they all looked at him with disgust. My mom said it was because they had no eye for talent. My brother was a hidden gem, and a fortune teller had said he was destined to live off the government payroll. I used my aunt's phone to scroll through my mom's WeChat moments these past few days. She hadn't been quiet at all, constantly reposting posts from various public accounts. An old house is being demolished, and the unfilial daughter actually demands money, enraging her own father to death. The unfilial daughter bought a house in Beijing, yet won't support her own mother in her old age. Shocking. An unfilial daughter has actually set her sights on her parents' pension. Since ancient times, family inheritance has depended on sons. I scrolled through these posts and reported each one. Where on earth did these morally twisted public accounts come from? I also forwarded a few with my own phone. How do elderly people who favor sons over daughters end up in the end? Shocking. An elderly man gave 8 apartments to his son, but when he got sick, he asked his daughter to pay the medical bills. The son inherited 4 apartments, but was unwilling to spend money to treat his elderly mother. My mom can't see my moments, but she has plenty of eyes and ears in my WeChat. Your aunt and second aunt will tell her about these updates. 9. That night, my mom called me. Xiangxi Hui, I've thought it through. 2. I'll just pretend I never gave birth to a heartless ingrate like you. From now on, I'm not your mother, either. Tomorrow, go to the notary office and sign the papers. What about your old age care? I asked. My mom let out a cold laugh. It's come to this, and you still expect me to rely on you to take care of me in old age. I also snorted coldly. Words are cheap. Tomorrow, let's go to the notary office and get it notarized while we're at it. We'll draw up an agreement. I won't take any of the family property, and I won't be responsible for your old age care, either. My mom agreed. If I'd known earlier, I should have strangled you at birth. After hanging up, I still didn't feel completely at ease. So, I went straight to a law firm, found a lawyer, and had a professional agreement drafted. The next day, all my mom and brother had to do was sign it and have it stamped by the notary office. When my mom saw me the next day, her first reaction was to rush over and hit me. It's all because of you. You dead girl. You got your brother detained. If this affects his chances of getting a wife in the future, I'll tear you apart. My 4th aunt stood in front of me. 3rd sister, Sahui is also your child. Why do you have to go this far? My mother looked like she had suddenly understood. Oh, I get it. I was wondering why this dead girl suddenly got so bold and rebellious. So, it turns out she was taking advice from you, this expert. 4th, I have to say, you're really out of line. It's one thing that you're unfilial to your parents, but now you're even goading my daughter into not supporting me in my old age. You're just too wicked. I've known since we were little that you were the worst of the 4 of us sisters. And sure enough, 4th sister, oh 4th sister, my 4th aunt was left standing there in a daze by what my mom said. I knew that although their relationship wasn't good, hearing those words with her own ears was still hard for her to accept. I stepped in front of Aunt Four and said, Mom, you're not allowed to say that about Aunt Four. You kicked me out late at night, and if Aunt Four hadn't taken me in, I wouldn't have had anywhere to go. You don't even care if I might be in danger out there. Am I not your real child? My mother sneered. Oomph. That's all your own doing. If you had just obediently gone to sign from the start, would I have kept you from living at home? Before your brother gets married, find a man and marry him. At the very least, you won't be left without a place to live. In the end, it's all your own fault. I looked at my mom's wild, clawing gestures, as if I had never really known her. My brother, Zhang, was also beside me, fiercely scolding me, his words as venomous as poison blades, deliberately choosing the most offensive things to say. When you get married someday and get beaten, I won't come to your door to stand up for you. By the time you get beaten to death, I won't even spare you a glance. Didn't you really see those news stories? You have no idea how hard it is for a woman with no family backing in her husband's family. I couldn't help but laugh at what he said. It was just too funny. Zhang Xiqing's thinking is still stuck a century behind, immersed in the outdated notion that men are women's sky. I interrupted his incessant chatter. Let's go before I change my mind. Hurry up and sign it. Upon hearing the word regret, my mother and brother practically sprouted wheels on their feet, dragging me into the notary office as fast as they could. 10. My mother placed the prepared documents in front of me and told me to sign. Noticing my reluctance, the staff member asked, "Are you voluntarily giving this up? Are you sure you haven't been threatened or coerced?" My mother quickly answered for me, "No, no. How could that be?" I took out the documents the lawyer had given me from my bag and handed them to the staff member. "There is an agreement between us. My brother, Zhang Xiqing, is fully responsible for my mother's elderly care, and I voluntarily give up my inheritance rights." The young woman took the documents and looked them over, then said to my mother and brother, "If everything has been agreed upon, please sign this agreement first." Seeing that I was serious, my mom became a little unwilling and tried to wiggle out of it. "Oh, we're all family here. Why be so clear about everything?" I smiled. "Exactly. We're all family. So why divide up the house? Once Mom, you kick the bucket, my brother and I can each have one house." My mom heard it and quickly snatched the agreement over, signing her name very decisively. My brother also shot me a glare. "As for the house, you'd better stop thinking about it. The house of our Jiang family will absolutely never fall into outsiders' hands." He also signed the pension agreement and, along with it, shoved the document relinquishing the property in front of me. "Your turn. Sign it now." I looked at the words on the document: automatic waiver of inheritance rights to the property, and sign my name after. Promisor. With that signature, all ties between my mother and me were completely severed. Beaming, she held my brother's hand and looked at the official seal stamped on the agreement, the smile in her eyes nearly overflowing, and she patted my shoulder comfortingly. "It's okay. Siwei, stay here at Aunt C's place and settle in for now. Your cousin is also away at university and doesn't come home even when she's on vacation. The two of you can share a room and whisper to each other." I nodded. "Aunt C, I really will have to trouble you for a while." My mom and my brother took the notarized agreement and went to handle the property transfer. I was also busy overseeing the renovation of my new home, watching the house gradually take shape. The emptiness in my heart was slowly being filled. 2. When my brother posted on Moments, showing off the 2 property certificates he had gotten. My house had just finished renovation as well. After letting it air out and getting rid of the formaldehyde, I'll be able to move in by the end of the year. While the house was airing out, I took Forth and out traveling, shopping, and on shopping sprees. She never asked me where the money came from, only told me to spend it sparingly and leave myself some room to fall back on. I asked her with a smile, "Andy 4, aren't you curious where my money comes from?" Andy 4 laughed. "As long as it's money earned the right way. If you don't say, Auntie 4 won't ask." 11. Just when I thought I would never have any further connection with my mom in this lifetime, she called me using Auntie 1's phone. As soon as the call connected, she was crying. "Sihui, your brother sold both apartments. Mom has nowhere to live. That prodigal son, gambling day and night, has piled up a mountain of debt. Even after selling the apartments, it still wasn't enough to pay off the gambling debts. Sihue, you can't just not care about your mom and your brother. Blood is thicker than water. My mom cried as she talked to herself. I didn't even want to deal with her. We have an agreement between us. Your retirement is my brother's responsibility, not mine. My mom panicked. Your brother is about to be beaten to death, and your mom hasn't eaten for days. Are you really going to just watch us die? I had already expected this outcome. My brother, that gambler, once he has capital in his hands, he'll gamble until the day he dies. Mom, I don't have any money, either. I can barely take care of myself. How am I supposed to take care of you? Besides, that agreement is still right there. It even has the notary office's stamp on it. It's legally binding. My mom cut me off. You little brat. Stop pretending. I know you bought a house in Linjiang. Where did you get the money? Hurry up and sell the house. Use the money to pay off your brother's debt. Or I'll come to your place every day and make a scene. I was still wondering how my mom knew I had bought a house when fourth aunt told me that among the renovation workers back then, one of them had been an old classmate of my mom's. I don't know her, but she has seen me. It was she who told my mom that I had bought a house and spent several 100,000 yuan on renovations. She even told my mom which building and which floor it was on. This is a new residential community. Many households are still renovating, and the access control system has not yet been officially activated. So, if my mom wants to find her way over here, it'll be easy. What should I do? I was at a loss for a moment first. I called the Decorate company and complained that one of their employees had disclosed customer information without authorization. If I'm not having an easy time, then no one else can expect to have an easy time either. My fourth aunt told me not to rush and to first let the neighborhood security know, so they could keep an eye on my front door more closely. If they noticed my mom or my brother engaging in any extreme behavior, they were to call the police immediately. 12. But after my brother got taken to the detention center last time, my mom and brother both learned to be smart about it. They didn't go straight to my house to make a scene. Instead, they unfurled a banner at the neighborhood entrance. They exposed my name, phone number, building number, and floor. In no time, everyone knew there was an unfilial daughter living in this neighborhood. She lived in a big house herself and left her elderly mother to fend for herself. People in the neighborhood group were also talking about me because after I finished renovating my house, I often went to open the windows for ventilation, and many neighbors had seen me on the way. She seems like such a nice girl. How can she be so unfilial? Yeah, her mom cries at the entrance of the neighborhood every day. I'm really afraid she's going to cry our property prices down. Some people even posted in the group telling me to deal with this matter quickly. We can't and don't want to get involved in domestic matters. If you really end up dragging down the neighborhood's property prices, we're going to come after you for it. I didn't reply and pretended I wasn't even in the group. I thought if my mom cried for a few days and I didn't show up, after a while she would stop coming. But in the end, not only did she keep going, she even brought a few reporters today. I watched the reporters' live stream and the comments were all cursing me out. My personal information had already been dug up completely. My fourth aunt told me to stay at her house and not go out for the time being. Once the heat dies down, no one will care about this anymore. I suddenly became afraid that if those people found my fourth aunt's house, it would end up affecting her whole family, especially my cousin, who is in college now. She must absolutely not be affected by my mess. So, I made up my mind, packed my things, and went to the entrance of Linjiang. The moment she saw me, my mom immediately scrambled up from the ground, pointed at me, and said, "It's her. She's my unfilial daughter." Right after that, she slapped her thigh and started wailing, vividly playing up the role of someone in excruciating pain. Several reporters waved the cameraman over, and a few cameras were thrust right up to my face. "Ms. Zhang Sihue, may I ask why you live in such a nice house yourself? yet leave your poor elderly mother to fend for herself. Do you know that what you're doing already violates the Chinese virtue of filial piety? A few reporters rattled off a barrage of questions, and I never got a chance to cut in. Only when the surroundings fell quiet did they wait for me to answer. I waved at the camera. Come on, get a clear shot. I held up the retirement agreement signed at the notary office under the camera. Everyone can see why I'm unwilling to support my mother. Our family has 2 houses, and my mother demanded that I give up my inheritance rights and leave both to my older brother. The only condition in this retirement agreement was that I give up my inheritance rights. That's not too much to ask, right? But now, both houses have been sold by my gambling-addicted brother to pay off his debts, and it still isn't enough to cover them. So, my mom set her sights on my house and made me sell my newly renovated home to pay off my brother's debts. My mom squeezed into the crowd and yelled at me. Bullshit. I never did that. The onlookers didn't believe it either. How could she be so ruthless? There can't be a mother like that in the world. Right. I took out my phone and played a recorded phone call. You little brat. Hurry up and sell the house to pay off your brother's debt. Do you even deserve to live in such a good house? If you refuse, I'll make a scene at your doorstep every day. My mother's voice echoed through the camera, and the number of viewers in the live stream surged, with the comment section exploding. Oh my God, is this really her biological mother? She gave both houses to her son, and after he lost everything, she's still making her daughter sell her house to pay off her son's debts. My God, that's terrifying. It's the 21st century, and there are still people leeching off their daughters. Luckily, my mom treats my brother and me the same. Everything in the family is divided equally, and we share the responsibility of supporting her in old age. This mom is unbelievable. She gives the assets to her son and expects her daughter to take care of her in old age. What a great plan. I turned to the reporter who had just interviewed me and asked, "May I ask which news outlet you're from? You're making assumptions about me without first getting the facts straight. Are you trying to lead me into admitting to the charges you're accusing me of, so you can drive more traffic to your interview video? I should be able to file a complaint against you." Right. The reporter quickly told the cameraman to put down the camera and looked at my mother with displeasure. You old woman, you sure know how to twist right and wrong. Seeing this, the other reporters also began to shift their stance, discussing in the live stream the behavior of preferring sons over daughters. Seeing the situation had turned hopeless, my mom secretly tried to flee, but sharp-eyed onlookers spotted her and stopped her. I don't know who called the police, but in the end my mom was taken to the police station and given a thorough verbal warning. 13. My brother also saw the live stream and sent me a text. Bitch, I won't let you get away with this. I don't know what he thinks he can use against me. I owe him nothing. He just refused to sell the house to pay off his debts. I went to the police station and filed a report. After seeing the text messages, the police told me to be careful lately and to try not to be alone. If anything happens, call the police immediately. My 4th aunt was worried about me, too. She stayed closely by my side these days, afraid that my brother would come looking for trouble with me. Unfortunately, those debt collectors found my older brother first and gave him a brutal beating. They beat my brother until he was paralyzed from the waist down and could never stand again. My mother cried so hard that she fainted several times. As I listened to 4th aunt describe all of this, I never showed up once. Later, with government assistance, a place was found for my mother to live, and she moved in with my brother. I managed to get by each month on a small welfare stipend. The fortune teller was really accurate. My brother really did land a government job at the end of the year. I moved into my new house, standing on the balcony and looking out at the calm river. I thought about everything that had happened over the past 6 months or so, and my heart was filled with mixed emotions. I gazed down at the beautiful scene before me, looking at the myriad lights glowing outside the window. I couldn't help but sigh. Jiang Sihua, you have a home now. After 25 years, I finally had a safe harbor. No one could ever again drive you out in the middle of a night. Story 2. My name is Fong Yu. The Yu that means superfluous. When I was 6 years old, my parents got divorced in court. My mother fought desperately for my custody, all for the sake of child support. In the end, the court awarded custody to my mother. Afterward, my mother grabbed my ear, her eyes filled with venom. It's all because you're a girl. Otherwise, your father wouldn't have divorced me. In just half a year, she remarried and left me at my stepmother's doorstep walking away. Later, I bought a house and a car for my stepmother, but she was so angry her eyes turned red. Within less than half a year of the divorce, my father married a beautiful aunt, and my mother, not to be outdone, found a remarried uncle. The uncle took a drag of a cigarette and glanced at me. He blew out a smoke ring, his eyes full of disdain. I can marry you, but I won't raise someone else's child. A single sentence decided my fate. I became my mother's burden. My mom called my dad, telling him to take me away. On the phone, they started arguing again as they talked. Dad said, I wanted to raise her back then, but you insisted on taking her. Now that you don't want her anymore, you're trying to give her back to me. Let me tell you, I don't want her either. Mom held the phone in one hand and pinched the flesh on my thigh hard with the other. I cried out in pain. Fong Wawi, are you even human? You don't even want your own daughter. Dad didn't back down either, firing back at Mom one sentence after another. You're not selfish. Then you raise her. Didn't you find a remarried man? Let him raise her. Why should someone else raise your daughter for you? I'm telling you, if you don't raise her, I'll just abandon her. Whoever wants her can have her. The two of them went back and forth, neither giving an inch. Finally, my father sighed helplessly. It's not that I don't want to raise her, but my wife is pregnant, and it might be a boy. How about you take care of her for a while first? And I'll discuss it with her after the baby is born. My mother snorted coldly. You're dreaming. I'm telling you right now, I don't want this child. After hanging up the phone, she glared at me fiercely, and still feeling unsatisfied, she kicked me. It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have to suffer like this. If I had known earlier. She glanced at me and said angrily, if I had known you would be such a burden, I shouldn't have fought for custody of you. Don't blame me either. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for being lucky enough not to be a boy. Later, I found out that my mother fought for my custody not because she loved me, but because she wanted the child support. The next morning, I was left by my mother at my father's doorstep. When my father went to work in the morning, he saw me sitting at his doorstep and froze for several seconds. He then frantically called my mother, only to find that she had blocked all his contact information. He gritted his teeth in anger, but had no choice. In the end, he made up his mind and took me into his home. Dad lowered his voice in warning. Behave yourself. If you upset your aunt, I'll throw you out immediately. I nodded timidly, afraid to make even the slightest sound. Who are you going to throw out? A voice came from the bedroom. Dad stiffened, visibly tensing up. It seems the stepmother is quite fierce. I was also nervously fidgeting with my fingers, keeping my eyes fixed on my toes, not daring to look at her. Oh, what's going on here? The aunt's belly was very large, like a round watermelon, but her voice was gentle. Honey, it's just that her mother isn't available for a while, so she's staying here temporarily. She'll be picked up soon. Very soon, Dad stammered, not daring to speak up. What do you think this is? A daycare? Don't just dump them here if you don't want them. 3 days, or 2 if that doesn't work. Dad tried his best to negotiate. 2 days was the duration of Mom's wedding. Fong Guohui, what did you promise me back then? They were all supposed to go to your ex-wife. So why are they being sent back here? I'm telling you, I'm not raising someone else's kids. Dad's voice was as faint as a mosquito's, and I didn't dare to breathe loudly. My stepmother lifted her eyelids and muttered, You can only stay for 3 days, not a single day more. Only then did Dad's tense face finally relax, and he quickly chimed in, "Okay, okay, I'll make sure to send her away by then." He pushed me in front of my stepmother and tapped my forehead, saying, "Aren't you going to greet her?" I pursed my lips, my face flushed red, unable to utter a word for a long time. My dad grew anxious and slapped me on the head. "What's wrong with you, kid? Have you gone mute?" My stepmother glared, her voice booming. "Fong Guohui, cut the melodrama in front of me. If you keep making a fuss, take her and get out of my sight right now." My dad immediately fell silent, shooting me a warning look. It's not that I don't want to call her, but I really don't know how to start. On the way here, my mother warned me that if I dared to call this woman mom, she would disown me. "Just call me Aunt Zhang." Aunt Zhang snorted coldly, clearly dissatisfied with my attitude. She doesn't speak, but when she glares, she looks really fierce. No wonder Dad is so afraid of her. Mom said it was this woman who destroyed our family, which is why Dad left us. Mom also said that stepmothers are all bad and told me not to get close to her, even though I'm young. I understand what this means. I called out, "Auntie Zhang," in a voice as faint as a mosquito's hum. Utterly unwilling, Auntie Zhang nodded, as if acknowledging, then turned and walked into the kitchen. Dad, rushing to work, said to Auntie Zhang in the kitchen, "Honey, if you have anything to do, just let her handle it." Auntie Zhang, busy with something, didn't even look up and replied, "I wouldn't dare. In a moment, she'll say I'm a wicked stepmother." Dad pushed me to the kitchen door and whispered, "Be sensible, or I'll send you away tonight. Honey, I'm off to work now." Before leaving, Dad whispered a warning. After Dad left, I remained standing in the entryway, too afraid to move. "What are you standing there for? Come over and help." Aunt Zhang stood at the kitchen door holding a bowl, and seeing me frozen in place, she immediately became annoyed. I responded with an, "Oh," and trotted into the kitchen. She had cooked lean meat porridge and steamed, fragrant little steamed buns. Looking at the steaming buns, I couldn't help but swallow my saliva. Aunt Zhang glared at me and said impatiently, "Eat. Why are you looking at me? Is there gold on my face?" I was already starving, so I picked up the bun and stuffed it into my mouth. Halfway through, I stopped again and looked at her timidly. "Why aren't you eating anymore?" My tears fell pattering down, one by one dropping into the bowl. "Auntie, I don't eat much, and I can still work. Please don't drive me away." Aunt Zhang paused, placed the bun in her hand onto the plate, and frowned. "Don't you pull this trick on me, just like your father." But I saw her expression soften. "I can't eat anymore with you crying like this. I've lost my appetite." She pushed the bun in front of me. "Finish it. No wasting food allowed." Seeing my confusion, she continued to add, "My family doesn't support idlers. No matter how sweet your words are, they're useless. If you don't obey, I'll have your father send you away immediately." I quickly nodded. "I'll obey. I'll obey." She sighed softly and muttered, "What a sin," under her watchful eye. I finished the breakfast meant for two. After eating, I took the initiative to clear the dishes. Aunt Zhang watched silently without saying a word, while she went back to her room to catch up on sleep. I took a cloth and cleaned every corner of the house, not even sparing the toilet lid. Her eyes lit up as she came out yawning. "Did you do all this?" I nodded. She frowned and scolded sharply. "Who told you to do this?" I immediately lowered my head, thinking to myself that I was done for. "I'm sorry. I just wanted to make you happy. After all, that's what my mom always told me. She said that as a girl, I should naturally be more diligent. Is it because I haven't done enough?" So Auntie Zhang is angry. Who would have thought that the next second, she took my hand and held it in her palm. "Damn it. Your mom makes you do all this." I nodded. "Snorts at home. Mom only praised me when I was doing chores. Still a biological mother. How can she make a child so young do all this work?" She led me to sit by the heater. The warmth from the heater made my face feel toasty, just like Aunt Zhang's hand, warm and comforting. During dinner, she kept piling food into my bowl. My small bowl quickly became a mountain of food. Eat up. How else will you have the strength to work for me? I almost buried my face in the bowl. Aunt Zhang's cooking is really delicious. At night, when I was sleeping, I heard Dad and Aunt Zhang arguing. At first, I could still hear Dad's voice, but it gradually faded, leaving only Aunt Zhang's angry voice. I heard words like send away and burden. I silently covered my head with the blanket. Sure enough, I was still going to be sent away. The next morning, when I woke up, I found an extra thick quilt covering me. Aunt Zhang was sitting by the heater, her hands busily knitting. It was a small pink sweater. Seeing me awake, she glanced up. Breakfast is in the pot. Go eat it yourself. After you finish, come with me somewhere. My heart trembled and I panicked. Where are you going? She didn't even look up. Where else could I go? I immediately burst into tears, rolled out of the blanket, and grabbed her pant leg. Auntie Zhang, I'll be obedient. Please don't drive me away. I'll only eat one meal a day, and I can help take care of my little brother in the future. Please don't drive me away. Okay, I knew that my mother would never want me back. She said that if Dad didn't want me, he would send me to an orphanage. I don't want to go to the orphanage. Aunt Zhang chuckled and helped me up from the ground. What are you crying for? I was planning to take you to the mall to buy some new clothes. I cried with tears and snot running down my face. I don't want new clothes. I won't spend money recklessly. I don't want to leave. I'll be obedient. Aunt Zhang's face turned stern. If you don't go, I'll have your father send you away. What child is as dirty as you? I glanced at my blackened coat and worn-out pants, then silently closed my mouth. Aunt Zhang bought me 3 sets of clothes, including a very pretty little dress. She took me to take a bath, and the pitch-black water had to run 3 times before my hair was finally clean. Well, now you look like a proper girl. Aunt Zhang dressed me in the dress she bought and even tied my hair into little braids. She smiled very gently, as if quite pleased with her handiwork. I grinned, my heart blooming with joy. Stepmom didn't seem that bad after all. That night, Dad and Aunt Zhang argued again because of me, but this time, I clearly heard her scolding with a choked voice. What kind of mother does that? You have no idea. Her hair was all tangled, her body covered in filth. How could she end up with such a mother? This child has such a hard life. 3 days and then another 3 days. I'm terrified every day that this is all just a dream. Once I wake up, I'll be kicked out, but Annie Zhang never tires of buying me clothes. I whispered no, but she didn't take it seriously, saying, "This is what I'm lending you. You'll have to pay me back later." Seeing that she no longer insisted on driving me away, my father let her do as she pleased. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. Aunt Zhang's belly grew bigger and bigger, and she often couldn't sleep, pacing back and forth in the middle of the night. I slept on the sofa and could always see her sitting alone on a small stool, supporting her waist with one hand as she paced back and forth in the living room. She even took off her shoes to avoid waking me. "Did I wake you?" Seeing me turn over, Aunt Zhang asked softly. I lifted the blanket and walked over to massage her shoulders. "The floor is cold. Put on your shoes," she scolded softly, her eyes filled with concern. After spending this time together, I knew she was someone with a sharp tongue but a soft heart. She always spoke threatening words, but everything she did was out of care for me. Approaching the due date, Aunt Zhang became increasingly anxious. Many relatives from her maternal family came to visit, and without exception, they all frowned upon seeing me, urging her to send me away. Among them, Aunt Zhang's mother reacted the most strongly. "Zhang Xiumei, have you lost your mind during this pregnancy? You're about to become a mother yourself, yet you're helping raise someone else's child. Isn't that foolish? Do you know how hard it is to be a stepmother? If you do well, no one appreciates you. If you don't, they'll say you're mistreating her. Wasn't the child awarded to her mother? Why are you bothering with her?" Aunt Zhang brushed it off with a laugh. Seeing this, her mother jabbed her forehead angrily and scolded. Don't say I didn't warn you. Someone else's child is an ungrateful wolf that can't be tamed, and it might just turn around and bite you. Aunt Jean nestled in her arms with a smile. I understand. Mom, you little brat. Hurry up and send her away. Or don't call Mom anymore. She turned and pulled me over. Little fish. Quickly call her grandma. Hello, grandma, I whispered to her. Aunt Zhang's mother rolled her eyes, her voice much softer. Who's your grandma? Aunt Zhang gently patted her shoulder. She's already calling you grandma. Mom, you've gained a granddaughter for free, so you should at least give a little something. Grandma Zhang pulled a long face and reluctantly took a red envelope from her pocket, slapping it into her hand. I really owe you. Little fish. This is a red envelope from Grandma. Take it quickly. This aunt is as happy as a child right now. I really envy her, being able to act spoiled in front of her mother at this age. Not like me, a child abandoned by my mother when no one was around in the evening. I gave my red envelope to Aunt Zhang, and she smiled and patted my little braid. That was given to you by Grandma. You should keep it yourself. That night, I placed the red envelope under my pillow and slept very peacefully, because it was the first time I had pocket money. Aunt Zhang was admitted to the hospital as her due date approached, and Dad became very busy. That day, I heard him on the phone on the balcony. His tone was very unpleasant. Lin Fong, you must take this child away. On the other end of the phone was my mother's long, unheard voice. Why should I raise it? I've already raised it for you for so long, and I haven't even asked you for living expenses yet. Dad retorted. You call that raising a child? I don't even want to say it, but you're just keeping her alive. Dad was right. Ever since they divorced, I moved into a rental apartment with Mom, often not knowing where my next meal would come from. Mom never worked during her marriage to Dad, and after the divorce, she spent all the money she got on mahjong, losing it all in no time. She doesn't go out to find a job, relying solely on the monthly alimony from her father to get by. Once she starts playing mahjong, she forgets about everything else. She only brings me a meal when she remembers. Otherwise, I might go 2 or 3 days without eating. At home, I'm so hungry my eyes are practically glowing, eating whatever I can find, whatever is available. I ate a whole box of baby pumpkins raw when I was at my hungriest. If it weren't for the kind landlady downstairs who often brought me food out of pity, I probably would have starved to death in my rented room long ago. Fong Weiwei, don't think I don't know what you're up to. Isn't it just that your wife is about to give birth? What? You want the new and forget the old. Let me tell you, don't even think about dumping the child on me. Dad gritted his teeth in anger. Lin Fong, you were the one who wanted the child in the first place. If you keep this up, I'll sue you. Go ahead and sue me. Don't forget you're her father, too. I might as well tell you, I'm pregnant. You can take the child or leave it. If you don't want it, just throw it away. I don't want it anyway. Otherwise, just kill her and be done with it, so we don't have to keep arguing about this. Dad was stunned, immediately at a loss for words, unable to say anything. After a long while, he finally cursed. Lin Fong, are you even human? That's your own daughter. How could you say something so cruel? Mom snorted in retort. You have the nerve to say that about me. You only came to me because you didn't want it yourself. Dad hung up the phone, crushed the cigarette butt on his lips fiercely, and pulled me out the door. I was dragged outside, not daring to speak a word the whole way. The car wound its way around, driving from dawn until dusk before finally reaching the destination. Dad carried me out of the car, and what came into view was an old, self-built house. A few people were sitting scattered at the entrance. Dad pulled me over and called out, Mom, Dad. Only then did I realize this was Dad's hometown. When Dad left, he stuffed 100 yuan into my pocket, telling me to buy something to eat. I refused to take it, clutching his hand and pleading, Dad, I don't want to stay here. Please don't leave me here. Auntie Zhang will worry if she can't find me. Dad hardened his heart, his face cold as he pushed my hand away. Grandma also came over to pull me away, scolding as she did. You wretched girl. Do you really think you're a treasure? They'd be glad if you died out there. From now on, you'll stay in the countryside and take good care of your brother. I threw a tantrum, but it was no use. Dad closed his eyes, didn't dare to look back, and strode away. The 100 yuan was snatched away by my cousin the very next morning. He licked his lollipop and boasted in front of me. Grandma said you're just a money loser, not worthy of candy. That was the first time I ever got into a fight with someone. My cousin ran into the house, and before long, my grandmother came out cursing and carrying a broom. You worthless troublemaker. You come back and make my Yazu cry. No wonder your mother doesn't want you. I'll beat you to death. She raised the broom and swung it at me. I didn't dare run, so I just stood there and let her hit me. My cousin stood by, clapping and cheering with a smile. Are you an idiot? Just standing there, letting her hit you. Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out from behind. I turned around and saw Aunt Zhang's familiar face, and tears suddenly began to fall uncontrollably. Where did it hurt? Let me see if it's painful. Seeing me cry, she visibly panicked and quickly pulled me into her arms to check. It hurts. It hurts so much. I cried louder and louder, tightly clutching her warm hands. Mom, how could you hit her? She, with a big belly, pulled me behind her and glared fiercely at Grandma. A worthless girl. I'll hit her if I want to. Grandma spat on the ground and scoffed. Mom, I think you're getting senile, even cursing yourself. If girls are worthless, then you yourself are worthless, too. We're all women here. Yet you keep calling her a money-losing burden. I think you must have given birth to your cerebellum along with your child. Grandma was furious, pointing at her and shouting, You, who do you think you are? How dare you talk back to me? Aunt Zhang curled her lips, her presence as imposing as a rainbow, even with her large belly. It didn't diminish her commanding presence in the slightest. I call you Mom out of respect. Otherwise, you're just a dead old hag. Let me tell you, from now on, Little Fish is my daughter. If you dare hit her again, I won't let you off. Grandma sneered. Her own mother doesn't even want her. What kind of mother are you? She took 2 steps forward, snatched the candy from her cousin's hand, and threw it into the chicken coop. Her cousin burst into tears instantly. A stepmother is still a mother. If you dare bully my daughter again, I'll beat you up every time I see you. My cousin shrank his neck, his face smeared with snot and tears. Grandma stomped her feet in anger, pointing at Dad and yelling, You just let your wife bully me like this. I raised you for nothing. Dad spread his hands, his face full of helplessness. I'll listen to my wife. Grandma's lips twitched as she cursed Dad for forgetting his mother after marrying a wife. Aunt Zhang looked at Grandma, rolling on the ground in a tantrum, and laughed. A mother like you should have been forgotten long ago. On the way back, Dad was scolded by Aunt Zhang the whole time while he was driving. I noticed a red handprint on his face. He remained silent the whole way, not daring to speak. Aunt Zhang threatened him, saying that if he dared to secretly send me away again, she would divorce him. Dad kept saying, I was wrong. Aunt Zhang turned her face to me and said, What are you saying to me? You should talk to Xiaoyu. Dad pulled a long face, and it wasn't until Aunt Zhang gave him a few nudges that he finally looked down and apologized to me. Only then did Aunt Zhang smile. She took my hand and asked, Will Xiaoyu forgive Dad? I nodded. I knew Dad had sent me back to my hometown because he was afraid no one would take care of me. It was only later that I found out that Aunt Zhang had asked my dad to take me to the hospital to keep her company. My dad avoided eye contact, too guilty to look at him. As soon as Aunt Zhang heard I had been sent back to my hometown, she rushed back from the hospital. My dad got beaten up several times along the way. That night when we returned, Aunt Zhang's water broke. We went back to the hospital that same night, just before entering the delivery room. She held my hand and told me to wait for her to come out. Aunt Zhang gave birth to a baby brother. The newborn baby brother was pink and tender, nestled in her arms. sleeping soundly. Aunt Zhang asked me to touch the baby brother. Just as I was about to reach out, she suddenly remembered something and told me to go wash my hands in the bathroom. When I came out of the bathroom, I ran into my mother. She lovingly stroked her pregnant belly and blocked my path. Fang Yu, where are you going? You didn't even call out to your mom when you saw her. I stopped in my tracks, looking at her with a hint of unfamiliarity. I heard your stepmother gave birth to a little brother for you. Then your days are about to get tough. Now that your stepmother has her own child, who's going to take care of you? Are you done? If you're done, I'm going back. I looked at her and spoke word by word. Mom frowned and scolded. You ungrateful girl. Have I raised you for nothing? Can't I even say anything to you now? She reached out to pinch my ear, but I dodged it. You dare dodge. Did that woman say bad things about me in front of you? I looked at her and suddenly felt angry. What right did she have to speak ill of Aunt Zhang? Aunt Zhang is great. She's not at all the kind of person you said she is. Mom was furious and tried to hit me again. I didn't want to talk to her, so I turned and ran. She's only taken care of you for a few days, and you're already siding with her. I'm your mother, you ungrateful thing. Just like your deadbeat dad. My steps quickened, her voice growing fainter behind me. Is there a ghost chasing you from behind? Running so fast, Aunt Jiang took a tissue and wiped the sweat from my forehead. Dad made a shushing gesture, lowering his voice to warn me to be quiet and not wake my brother. The two of them looked at me with faces full of affection. I felt like my own name was unnecessary, out of place. I quietly walked out of the hospital room, choosing a brief escape. Aunt Jiang was discharged from the hospital soon after. On the day of my younger brother's full moon celebration, many people came to our home, making it lively and bustling. I hid in a corner, watching as they held my brother in their arms, their mouths filled with praises for his beauty and hopes for his boundless future. I think perhaps when I was his age, I was also held in someone's arms with the same kind of anticipation. What are you thinking about? A gentle hand rested on my shoulder, and I turned to see Aunt Zhang's kind face. I rubbed my eyes dejectedly. Nothing. I bet you're thinking that now that Auntie has a little brother, she doesn't want you anymore. Right. My thoughts were gassed, and my face flushed red instantly the moment I saw my brother. The darkest thoughts even crossed my mind. If only he would disappear. I pouted. I don't. All right, come here. Let Auntie give you a hug. A strange yet warm embrace enveloped me. Don't worry, little fish. Auntie won't abandon you. I'm still waiting for you to make money and take me to live a good life. My nose tingled and I felt like crying. Does little fish want to go to school? Go to school. I froze because I had never imagined I could still go to school. Aunt Jiang wants me to work to pay off the debt. Right. Only by going to school can you gain knowledge. And with knowledge, you can earn more money. I sniffled, nodded firmly, and promised her earnestly, I want to go to school. And in the future, I'll buy you a car and a house, so you can live a good life. Aunt Jiang smiled affectionately and patted my head. Little fish, you have to work hard. When I was 7 years old, I started elementary school. Aunt Jiang drove me to school on her electric scooter every morning and would pick me up after school with my little brother. By then, my little brother could already walk, albeit unsteadily. Every time he saw me, he would show off his two adorable little teeth and toddle toward me. The neighbors all praise Aunt Jiang for her good fortune, having given birth to a son and a daughter. She doesn't explain, just smiles and agrees. Under Aunt Jiang's influence, Dad has become a bit nicer to me now. Aunt Jiang often scolds him. Even though you're her biological father, your daughter is closest to me now. Dad grinned. That's because my wife is both beautiful and kind-hearted. During that time, many relatives from Aunt Jiang's side also advised her to send me away. Aunt Jiang initially declined politely, but after hearing it too often, she became upset. My own daughter, and you want me to give her away? What do you take me for? Even a beast wouldn't do such a thing. I raised her, so she's my own daughter. If anyone dares mention this in front of me again, I won't let them off. Somehow, these words reached my mother's ears. She called me to explain. Fong Yu, don't listen to your stepmother's instigation. I never meant it that way. She might not have good intentions, but Mom still loves you. I looked at the busy figure in the kitchen and hung up the phone with a snap. I can still tell who's good and who's bad. When I was in 5th grade, my younger brother started kindergarten. Aunt Jiang has to drop off my younger brother first before taking me every day. The morning breeze lifts her hair, and I see the marks that time has left on her. Winters in the south are damp and cold with the chilly wind seeping through the cracks and chilling one to the bone, making people shiver uncontrollably. Aunt Jiang still braves wind and rain without fail, punctually taking me to and from school, to make it easier for us to get to and from school. Aunt Jiang even got her driver's license during the summer vacation. Dad bought her a car for commuting. She drives my brother and me to school every morning. Under her careful care, my grades are excellent, and I almost always get perfect scores on every exam. Looking at the room full of awards, Aunt Jiang couldn't stop smiling. She praised my intelligence to everyone she met. In contrast, my younger brother often had his ear twisted by Aunt Jiang, who scolded him for being foolish. Look at you, and then look at your sister. How can there be such a big difference? My brother grimaced in pain and asked with a grin, then why didn't you make me smarter? Aunt Jiang couldn't hold back her anger and swung the feather duster at him. My brother ran, wild, shouting for help. Watching the scene, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. When I was in middle school, my dad opened a restaurant with a partner. Aunt Jiang also went to help out. Our family's life gradually improved. At the end of the year, our whole family even went to look at houses, 3 bedrooms and 2 living rooms. Aunt Jiang held my hand and asked me what kind of decorating style I wanted for the bedroom. We finally settled on a light yellow decor. I finally had my own room. Aunt Jiang also bought me a new phone and told me not to tell my younger brother. She said it was a birthday gift for me. My eyes grew a little moist. Only she would remember my birthday. During summer vacation, Aunt Jiang and I went shopping at the mall and ran into my mom. Her belly was prominently swollen, and she held the hand of a little boy about the same age as my younger brother. Seeing me, she gave an awkward smile. Fong Yu, it's been so long since we last met. You've grown so much. Time really flies. I pursed my lips looking at her slightly faded clothes and remained silent for a long time. The thought that it would be easier to just kill her kept echoing in my mind. Mom pushed the boy in front of me and said to him, and then hurry up and call her sister. This is your sister. The little boy looked at me with unfamiliarity and turned his head away proudly. I don't have a sister. This is my sister. My younger brother frowned and stood in front of me, shouting loudly. Aunt Jiang stepped forward to pull my brother aside, giving me some space. My mother looked at me opening her mouth several times, as if wanting to say something, but hesitating, and finally asked if I was doing well now. I nodded and told her that I was doing very well. Before leaving, she held my hand and said, Fong Yu, come visit when you have time. Mom will make your favorite spicy shrimp for you. I broke free from her hand, my tone cold. I'm allergic to shrimp. Didn't you know? Mom's smile froze on her face, and she wanted to say something, but I had already run far away because the person I love most was waiting for me ahead. Later, Mom called me to say she had given birth to another brother. She asked if I could help take care of her child for a while during the summer vacation. Aunt Jiang snatched the phone away and scolded her. If you can't afford to raise a child, then don't have one. Asking my daughter to take care of your kid. How shameless can you be? Let me tell you, there's no way. After hanging up, she warned me, if you dare to go, I'll break your legs. I smiled and agreed. I never even thought about going. Okay. The moment she left me at the door, I decided I didn't want her anymore. In the blink of an eye, I entered high school. The college entrance exam felt like an impending storm, creating an indescribable sense of tension. Everyone was immersed in the atmosphere of studying to avoid affecting my college entrance exams. Aunt Zhang sent my younger brother to stay at our grandmother's house. Grandma pointed at her and scolded. He's not even your own child. Why go to all this trouble? Aunt Zhang still responded to her with a smile. Grandma scolded her for being heartless, saying she had never cared so much about her own children. I turned around, grabbed 2 boxes of milk, and handed them to Aunt Zhang, telling her to let me study hard on the day of the college entrance exam. Aunt Zhang brought her son to cheer me on. She stood in the crowd wearing a rose-red cheongsam, looking at me with hopeful eyes, the corners of her eyes marked by the traces of time. My heart suddenly felt a pang of sadness. After the college entrance exam, I secretly found a part-time job. I saved up $2,000 before the start of the school term. I used the money to buy a gold necklace as a birthday gift for Aunt Zhang. She held the necklace in her hands, smiling from ear to ear. That night, she posted 2 updates on her social media feed. Mom found out I bought Aunt Zhang a necklace and called me that very night. She beat around the bush, saying I had no conscience and couldn't tell who my real mother was, her words dripping with bitterness. I pretended the signal was bad and quietly hung up the phone. In the end, she went to Aunt Zhang's comment section to make snide remarks, calling Aunt Zhang mean and petty, telling me to work a summer job to buy her a gold necklace, and demanding that Mom return the necklace to her. Aunt Zhang ignored her provocation and silently posted my admission letters from Tsinghua and Peking University, along with the 150,000 yuan reward from the city. Mom could no longer sit still and knocked on my door the next day. I opened the door to see Mom standing at the entrance, carrying large and small bags of gifts, with a flattering smile on her face. As soon as she saw me, she warmly grabbed my hand and pulled me close. Xiaoyu, my dear daughter, Mom always knew you could do it. I coldly withdrew my hand and kept my distance from her. I had forgotten when the last time I had any contact with her was. What are you doing here? Of course, I'm here to take you home. You've suffered so much here all these years, and it breaks my heart. Mom spoke so sincerely that she even fooled herself. She definitely wasn't here out of concern for me. I suspect she came for something else. I glanced at her, my eyes filled with impatience. I'm doing just fine here. If you have something to say, just say it directly. Upon hearing this, my mother grew anxious and quickly grabbed my hand, saying, Don't you have that 150,000 yuan reward? I just gave birth to your little brother, and things are a bit tight right now. Could you lend it to me? Oh, here comes the freeloader. You're like a dung beetle wearing a mask. Utterly shameless. How can you have the nerve to ask for it? This is my daughter's money. What does it have to do with you? Aunt Zhang pushed me into the house and unleashed a torrent of words at my mom. Mom already had issues with Aunt Zhang, and now she didn't hold back, shouting, What do you mean? Your daughter. I'm her real mother. Who do you think you are? It's you who's been stirring up trouble between us, mother and daughter. Stepmoms are all the same. No good. Aunt Zhang stood with her hands on her hips, looking down her nose at her. You've got some nerve. When Xiaoyu needed you, where were you? Her so-called real mom. I don't even want to bring it up. When you left this child at my doorstep, she was as thin as a cat. I've never seen a biological mother like you. Now that Xiaoyu has grown up and made something of herself, you have the nerve to come back and claim her. Who gave you the right? Let me tell you this today. Unless she willingly goes with you, you won't even get to touch a single hair on her head. Hearing the commotion, my younger brother abandoned his favorite cartoon, Bony Bears, and ran over barefoot to stand protectively in front of me, eyeing the person at the door warily. My mother immediately fell silent, looking at me and stammering without being able to say a word. Aunt Zhang also looked at me, her gaze shifting uneasily, flickering with discomfort. Knowing she's waiting for me to make a decision, I lowered my gaze, looked at Aunt Zhang, and said, Mom, I'm hungry. Let's go home and eat. Aunt Zhang was stunned. taking a long moment to react before she burst into tears of joy, wiping her eyes and hugging my shoulders. All right, let's go home and eat. Mom stood frozen in place, staring at the long closed door, unable to leave for a long time. After graduating from college, my classmates and I chose to start a business. We developed an entertainment and stress relief game that, once released, became a hit among many young people that year. I added many new things to our home. Aunt Zhang's hair has turned much whiter, but her mental state is exceptionally good. I bought her a villa and several shops. After my mother found out about this, she came to my house to make a scene several times, but I refused to see her. She somehow got my phone number and has been calling and texting me every day, crying and making a fuss, insisting on seeing me. I heard her 2 sons are quite unambitious, living off their parents every day. She asked me to buy a villa for each of her 2 younger brothers and arrange a company position for them. I smiled at my phone and blocked and deleted her. Aunt Zhang pointed at my brother and warned, "If you dare to covet your sister's company or money, I won't let you off easy." My brother rolled his eyes at her. "Don't underestimate me. Okay, I have my own career now." Aunt Zhang and I exchanged a glance and both smiled. At the age of 28, I married my college classmate. On the wedding day, Aunt Zhang attended as my mother. I held her hand and introduced her to my colleagues and friends, saying she is my mother. She wiped away her tears and proudly told others that I am the best rose she has ever nurtured. On my wedding day, my biological mother also came, but she was stopped by security before she could even enter the door. She shouted, "Why are you stopping me? I'm her real mother." The security guard glanced at her impatiently and said, "Her real mother is sitting right over there. Who do you think you are?" Later, she still refused to give up and tried every possible way to find me. I ignored them all. Love is a piggy bank. If you haven't put anything in, you can't take anything out. After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you like this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.